With this, we actually have some connectors and some wires that we need to take a look at because we want to build a wiring harness inside of this particular file. And you can see we have some connectors. We also have some connectors for this board up to our camera. So built into Solid Edge is what we call as our harness design. And inside of here we want to be able to bring in some information. You can see that we have some other ECAD systems that we can bring information in from. We have some specifically for this particular assembly. And as we go through this, the wizard kind of walks you through and shows you, okay, what is the component that we're going to be connecting to. In this case, the front camera. We have a main connector. We have our side connector that we just looked at with our configurations. And then what are the terminals that we want to connect to and the components for each of those. We can see that information. We can see what type of wire that it's going to be. These are predefined from the ECAD system, but if you wanted to, you could change them at this particular moment. But we're going to hit finish. You can see how quickly that we went in here and we created these wires. Now, this information is just kind of out there, but we need to organize them in such a way. And one of the ways to do this is to go inside of here and you can actually bundle the information. So if we had like a tie wrap that we wanted to tie these things together. So I just want to be able to grab all these wires here. And I just want to create this one as my tie wrap, and you can see that we can easily pull those together and bundle them in that one particular area. The next thing I want to be able to do is show you is to create an actual cable. In this case, we want to be able to create these three wires into a particular cable. And now I want to draw the path in which it wants and where it's going to actually be placed. And so you can see that we have these wire tabs that we can select up to, and that's going to be the path of my cable. But what is the size of the cable that we want to select? So you can select the size that you want. Go ahead and preview that and notice that it bundled all that information together into that particular wire, or excuse me, cable. Now in this case we can see that our we have some that are kind of protruding out a little bit, but that's easily we can come in here and we can take a look at that particular path and we can edit it, and you can see that we can pull down that particular wire, and then we can just switch to another one and keep pulling it down as well. So you can see how easy it is to be able just to select this information and make the edits quick and easy to our parts and to our wires. Now we want to be able to see this information on the screen, and so what we can do with this is we can actually create what we call the physical conductor, and that will show this information to you. That was the particular for the cable. Now we want to turn on the wires. You can see those wires in place. Now what happens when you want to take a particular part, and let's say we needed to move that, we needed to be able to make a change in our design. Well, as you can see, just using our steering wheel, just making that change easily takes place. And if we want to make the different direction of that, we can pull it down as well. And you can see how easy it is to make your changes to your design. Very quick, very easy inside of there, and you can see how quickly that information updates. So Solid Edge is a very powerful tool, not only in top-down design, but also dealing with the electronic components that you need for your assembly and your wire. So what we want to do now is take a look at bringing in a PCB board from our electronics department. And so what we want to do is take a look at a tool that works alongside of Solid Edge called PCB to 3D. And what PCB to 3D does is allows us to bring in a PCB board file from our electronics department, and you can see that it will show you what the board is, the holes that are inside the board, the components that are placed in the board. What are the geometries for this? If you have some geometries that you have, where are the locations of those? We can come in here and say that information is in this library file for these particular parts. And they're going to show you the height of these parts. And if you had any components that were 0, you could place them with a default height. And so this one, we're just going to give this one a name, and we're going to save it to our working directory. And we'll just call it PCB. Call it PCB1. Finish that off. And then what it's going to do is it's going to take Solid Edge. It's going to go out and it's going to start building the information that you see on the screen. Build every individual part and then place them into an assembly that we can then bring into Solid Edge. So this is taking the information, building them up as 3D components. Now this works both ways. So if we move any components in our board, we can send that back out through to the ECAD system, and that's in a file format that it understands. And so that we see this, we see our components. We'll go ahead and we'll just save that just to be on the safe side. And what we want to do is we want to be able to reopen our assembly. And then we'll want to place this PCB board directly inside of our assembly. And in doing that, we have the way inside of Solid Edge to say what are our open documents, where I can simply just drag and drop this component in here. And I just want to select the bottom portion of that, and we just want to mount it to the top of this particular part. We just come along here, grab these, and then you can always you can hit the or you can hold down the control key, and you can actually rotate this thing around to the point where you want to place it. And we can just do a planar line. Select it, and it will give you the best possible relationship for that condition. So you can see how easy it is to bring in information into Solid Edge from your electronic designers and reuse that information and build your parts around it. Next, we want to take a look at where we want to analyze information that is inside of here. We're just going to clear up our screen, and we want to be able to look at, this is the sheet metal part that is holding this camera. And what we want to do is we want to take a look at some tools that are inside of Solid Edge that are available to you free of charge. And one of those is what's called Simulation Express. And what we need to do is with Simulation Express is it enables you to come in here and select and see how your part is being more deformed, whatever, based on certain conditions. And so we grab the midpoint, and we create the midpoint of our part. And what we want to do is we want to take a look at a stress rather than a modal, although we could do a modal if we wanted to. It understands the material that is being placed inside of here, and we want to be able to add a load. In this case, I want to be able to turn off a few things. Let's go back to my load. And I want to add force, and we're just going to give it, and then where do we want that force to be placed? And then what is the direction? Now in this case here, we want to be able to utilize the information around us. And so we want to be able to know which direction that is going in. And if you always want to flip the direction, you can. So now we've added our load. Now we need to constrain. We're just going to constrain this face, and we're just going to go through and let Simulation Express find the condition, find the information for us. And as it's doing this, you can change the mesh size. You can change different things from here, but it's a very simplistic and easy way to find out what your part is actually doing. And we can go through, we can do a play of a stress, we can do one of a displacement to see the displacement, but also we want to take a look at a factor of safety. And factor of safety, we would like the part to be almost completely green. In this case we have some yellow, so that's an area of concern for this particular part. So there's a couple ways you can change this. One, you can change the bend radius of the file, or we can just go through and we can change the material of this, or just change to a thicker gauge. So we had, let's just go to a gauge of 16, and now we have a thicker part. And so let's take a look at it, and it's going to tell us that the model has changed. So it already has all that information that we placed inside of there, and now it's going to remesh and reanalyze the part. And so we can take a look at stress, displacement, and factor of safety, and we can see that that is a lot better. If we wanted to, we could still bump up the gauge to here, so this is all green. But you can see how quick and easy it is to change this. We can also take a look at a report. We'll just say design report for this one, and given company, we'll just say today. You can put a logo, you can put some introduction information, you can put some conclusion information in there, but just to kind of show you what the report is going to look like. It's a very HTML type report. It's going to show you this. You click on the images, it's going to show it to you, and that gives you a nice report. And then we also do have a true an expansion of the Simulation Express through the simulation tool, where you can create more loads, more constraints, different types of meshing that you want to place on there. That is an add-on to Solid Edge, but for the designer who just wants to quickly see what his part is going to do inside of there, Simulation Express does a lot for you. And so that concludes this demonstration. We appreciate your time today, and if there's any questions, we'll be able to be glad to answer them. Thank you.